It doesn't happen overnight. So we've been working and fingers crossed, man.
Jake Paul's grand plans of establishing a fighter union are turning out to be more difficult than he originally thought. Following his win against Anderson Silva in their boxing bout in 2022, the two athletes agreed to work together to form a fighters union. Silva and Paul have already begun laying the groundwork for their project, but it's definitely not as easy as Paul thought it would be.
We've been working nonstop on it behind the scenes. It's just, how do I say this? Damn near impossible to figure this one out. It's very difficult, very, very difficult. And we're not shying away because of that. But it takes a lot of people, a lot of brains, a lot of money that we are funding. And a lot of time, a lot of thought. So really, we've been chugging along this whole entire time behind the scenes and making slow progress more and more every single day.
According to Paul's estimates, the fighter union will take close to 3 to 4 years to establish, although he hopes to change the fighter pay dynamics in the next couple of years.
Definitely, this is a big 3-4 year thing. It doesn't happen overnight. So we've been working and fingers crossed, man. I think it's going to be great for the combat sports world in general and sort of change the history of fighters being treated terribly and not having health insurance, being underpaid. Like, the list goes on and on and on. So hopefully that's something that we can fix in the next couple of years.
Paul is currently scheduled to face Nate Diaz in a boxing showdown in August, and the YouTube sensation is a sizable favorite heading into the fight. Michael Bisping believes Paul was smart enough to pick an easy matchup.
Jake Paul's the bigger guy, he's the younger guy, and he hits harder. And I regret to say this, but I think Eddie Hearn's right. I don't think it will. Won't go for. I don't think it will either. I just don't. I don't know about going 4. Diaz is hard to finish. He's got a hell of a chin, but there's a reason why there's weight classes. And he used to fight at 155.
Yeah, he also has 100 times the scar tissue that Jake Paul has, maybe like
Correct.
90 times, like, you know what I mean? So honestly, all Jake has to do is land a few big shots. Like,
Aljamain Sterling exposes Sean O'Malley and explains why he doesn't deserve a title shot. But before we dive deeper into the story, please subscribe to our channel and turn on those notifications. Thank you. Aljamain Sterling believes Sean O'Malley's record is padded, or at least it's not as impressive as he claims. Part of the reason, according to Sterling, is that most of O'Malley's past opponents are no longer in the UFC.
Weir, no longer in the UFC. Andre Sukumtat, no longer in the UFC. Julian Paiva, I don't think he's in the UFC. Thomas Almeida, no longer in the UFC. Who else did he knock out? Chris Martino, TKO, even though they probably should have let the fight keep going. Like, yeah, he was being a punching bag, but he kept coming forward and he was still swinging. No longer in the UFC. So you get this guy who's kind of come in, he's had like these tailor-made fights that were handpicked for him to look like a superstar. And in all fairness, I'm not even mad at that.
Whether he deserves a title shot or not, O'Malley will challenge Sterling at UFC 292 in August, and should he win, he would like to defend his title against the winner of Henry Cejudo versus Marlon Vera. No immediate rematch for Sterling in case of a loss, since he has already announced that the O'Malley fight will be his final one at bantamweight.
2, and my gaming PC.
Give him away, brother.
Nope.
Would Sugar's first title defense be against Corey Sandhagen be the best striking match in bantamweight history?
If Cheeto wins,
If
That
Henry
fight, Henry
versus
versus
Cheeto. I'll pick and choose.
yeah.
O'Malley's confidence is through the roof heading into his fight against Sterling, and he thinks his striking will be too hot to handle for the champion come fight night.
I am a sniper, and Aljo walks forward. He's very, his awkwardness is effective in MMA. You got to give it to him because you watch him strike and you're like, what the hell's he doing? But look what he's done. So his awkwardness is effective, but I think it will be the downfall of him because I am a sniper.
Who will come out on top at UFC 292? Daniel Cormier doesn't think Jon Jones deserves to win the best MMA fighter ESPY. Jones made a sensational return to fighting earlier this year at UFC 285, where he dispatched Cyril Gane in the first round to win the vacant heavyweight title. For his successful comeback, Jones has been nominated for the Best MMA Fighter ESPY, alongside UFC lightweight champion Islam Makhachev, UFC welterweight champion Leon Edwards, and recently retired dual champ Amanda Nunes. Cormier thinks Makhachev, Edwards, and Nunes deserve it way more than Jones.
I just don't know if one fight in the year against Cyril Gane puts you in that position. You got to think of the storylines that follows these other athletes, right? From Makhachev beating Dubronx to win the belt, from Makhachev beating Alexander Volkanovski. Then you look at Amanda losing her belt to Juliana and winning it back. And then Leon Edwards doing what he did. Jon Jones is in there because Jon Jones is the biggest star.
So, what does Jon Jones need to do to deserve the award?
I think Jones needed one more performance to find himself in the running for an ESPY.
Do you agree with Daniel Cormier? Alexander Volkanovski thinks Yair Rodriguez is a far bigger threat than Ilia Topuria. After securing a dominant win against perennial featherweight contender Josh Emmett, Topuria called out Volkanovski, saying that he'd knock him out in the first round.
So, Josh was tough tonight, but I beat him pretty easy, and it don't going to be like different with Alex, you know. The rest of this going to be the same. I'm gonna knock him out in the first round, second round. If not, I'm gonna dominate him for 5 rounds, no problem.
Topuria's message was delivered to Volkanovski, but the champ isn't paying much attention to him since he has a more dangerous threat in Yair Rodriguez to worry about. The two will headline UFC 290 in July.
I think it's I think that's a great fight, and that'll work well on some people, but it won't work well on others. But anyway, we'll move on from that. Again, I want guys. I told you I want it to be active. I was at a stage where I was like, yeah, give me number one guys, give me one number one guys. We've sort of cleared it, we don't have it. So everyone's raving on about this guy. I've got Yair to worry about. I'll worry about that first because, again, I see him as a much bigger threat than Ilia. So I'll make sure I go out there, do my business. And then if that's on the cards, again, I want to be active.
Do you agree with Alexander Volkanovski that Yair Rodriguez is a more dangerous opponent than Ilia Topuria? UFC newcomer Abusafyan Magomedov has told Sean Strickland to keep quiet. Magomedov will make his UFC debut against Strickland in the UFC Vegas 76 main event, which has come as a surprise to many since newcomers rarely get such a push in their first promotional fight unless they're exceptionally good. Well, why did Strickland accept the fight in the first place? Here's why. Quote, they said, Sean, you're going to be waiting for a long time for a top 6 guy to open up, or we'll pay you a lot of money to fight this guy. So here we are. I just bought a new motorcycle and I'd like another one. Thinking a sport bike if anyone has a hookup. Magomedov wants Strickland to quit playing around and focus on training. Quote, my advice for Strickland is that he has to be quiet. He has to take care of himself, take care of his survival. If he wants to talk, we can talk after the fight. But in the fight, we have to fight. It's not a talk show, you know? Will Sean Strickland spoil Abus Magomedov's UFC debut? We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comment section below. To stay up to date with the latest happenings in the world of MMA, please subscribe to Takedown MMA and turn on those notifications. Thank you for your continued love and support, and we'll see you in the next one.